All right.
Welcome.
What's up, peoples?
All right. Welcome to Everything to Gain, episode 6. Stace. I am Dan Yu, and that is Mark Angelos.
What's up, peoples?
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Everything to Gain, where we talk about making positive changes in your life. And today we have 6 hard truths for success in an AI age. And
this might be
escape reality.
This might be an uncomfortable one for some of you guys.
I mean, it doesn't. It's every day. Like not a day goes by for the past got to be 4 or 5 months where there isn't an article about AI taking over jobs, right? So just this week, here we go. Just this week, CNBC. It's not just Jamie Dimon and Wall Street. Local bank branches have big AI ambitions. So local credit unions, like, going to be run by AI. Like, isn't that the whole point of a local bank? Like, relationships, right?
You can hate on capitalism, but this is like the idea of efficiency. People are going to eventually be whittled out of what they're doing. It just is. Right. It's the nature of making money.
Right. And we've talked about rules-based jobs, right? Rules-based jobs. Just 2 days ago, Google restructures finance team as part of AI Shift, CFO tells employees in memo. So restructures finance team is another word for layoffs, right? Seriously. So, I mean, Google has more money than you can throw at any job, right? And yet they're still going to lay off people.
So here's the truth that this isn't one of the truths, but this is a reality that most people don't realize. Dan, from finance, one of the most profitable things a company can do is lay off staff. And Absolutely. The stock price always goes up when they announce massive layoffs. And that's terrible, but that is how it works.
Right. And there's a whole mechanism around that because a full-time employee, counts against a different part of all of their numbers, whereas laying somebody off and then just paying them a severance goes under an expense line, which they can take against taxes. So,
wait, are you suggesting companies play accounting games?
What? Come on.
So what do we do about it?
Who does it? Well, hold on a second. There's more trends. Right? Microsoft's Bill Gates is worried about losing his job to AI.
What?
Though it could potentially present a 3-day work week opportunity. So is that a win?
I think he owns Copilot. He's not too worried about his income.
Yeah, I think he's all right. Yeah, he's got a couple shekels, lying around. So, all right. Well, we have these 6 hard truths that we want to talk about. And so the first one is the old road to success is broken.
Broken, people.
Mark, why is that?
So basically, in the industrial era, success came from 3 things. There were 3 goals that you had in the old days. Everyone that grew up was told, number 1, college degree. Have to have a college degree to be successful. Number 2, ideally, a white-collar job. Right? 6 figures was the goal, work for a big company. And number 3, that old 40-year run to retirement. You guys remember that conversation? You're going to work real hard, sock away your money, and then live when you're into your dead years off of what you saved in the bank. And the
problem with that was that for decades, there was a pension involved, right? So the security of having that 40-year run, right, really held people kind of in check. It was kind of like their golden handcuffs. Right. And
I'll bet you money, Dan. My kid's 15, 17, that they have no idea what a pension is. Like even the definition of the concept, that they're not familiar with that.
There's no way.
So forget it.
We know that that world is gone.
Right.
It's long gone. And so what do we do? What next? What next?
So this is going to take us a hard truth number 2, which is the new road to success is personal. Right. Number 1, personal happiness. Number 2 is passion for your work. This is what people consider to be success today. And number 3, control of your own success journey. Meaning, Dan, we used to work in a field where you worry about someone tapping on your shoulder and you get fired. Probably everyone's in that.
Every day.
Right. Every day. Everyone is in that boat right now.
Good times and bad, right? Doesn't matter.
I can tell you this, like, it's a different pressure running your own business, but no one's going to just come up and fire me. Like the market might, but I can adjust to that.
That's correct. And then
So
you can pivot easier than
Yeah.
somebody that's kind of stuck in a job or whatever, right? Because and we can do this because we're doing it on our own, right? Doing however we're trying to hustle.
So basically, the road to success, however you define it, is, and I'm not just mean money. I just mean happiness is shifting from the group to the individual, right? Suddenly, it's not your job that brings you that; it's going to be you are responsible for that. And there's a shift in thinking.
So hold on a second. Does that mean the millennials and the Gen Zers are right?
Yes, 100% yes. Sorry, like, well,
wait. What?
I'm not gonna.
Well, I'm an old man and I am old, but I mean, there's no way they can be right, can they?
I wrote a piece back in January of this year called The Entrepreneur Rebellion. It's on LinkedIn. And it basically said that the thing that these kids all expect is what you and I, Dan, thought was fantasy. Work from home, make enough money to like retire without having to go to a job. All that stuff was like make believe. They're doing it. Like the creator economy is a real thing.
So they're doing it, and I think everybody can learn from their example, right? So,
but it requires something that most people are not familiar with.
Right.
Digital skill sets.
Right. And so, going from a job, now what? Right. Now what? It's, your income, we have to go towards the digital age, right? We're in the digital age. We have to catch up in many respects.
The concept of a job, like the very construct of a job, is an anachronism from a previous era that doesn't exist anymore. So that's like industrial thinking, factory age.
Yeah,
so
40-hour work week, 5 days a week, thanks Henry Ford, right? So,
but what people don't want a job, they just want money. Like I want to be able to support my family and like make a living. And that doesn't need to be a job anymore, which is a very different concept than we're being taught. So what you need to think of is your uniqueness now becomes the path to your income. And that sounds real like foofy. But what I mean by that is there's something you can do. I don't know what it is. It's going to be your job to figure it out. And we'll give you some tips here. But if you can be replaced by a machine, you're going to be, right? AI is already taking jobs, as you just mentioned.
Rules-based job is gone.
So what can't an AI do is whatever your unique mix of combination skills, values, interests, and how you can monetize that is how you need to start thinking of income as opposed to what job do I need? It's a different way of thinking.
Right.
So your income must go digital is the point.
Right. So it's about finding your skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding. So now, if we know that it's going to be digital, right, and we know that the world of a job is really an anachronism because so many of them are just actually going to disappear, right? They're going to disappear. Millions and millions of jobs are going to go away. So then, what's one thing that they can do?
So obviously, entrepreneurship is something they can do, and that doesn't necessarily mean you need to just quit your job and go launch a company. It means that you have to start thinking in terms of how can I make an income off of what I know and what I like to do, because you don't have a choice anymore. It's not that entrepreneurship is cool. It's not that everybody wants to be Steve Jobs and start. It's that you're not going to have the option in time. Like you're in a window of time right now to learn skill sets, to start thinking differently, because the fact is you're going to lose that choice. So entrepreneurship is no longer a choice is hard truth number 4 because of what's happening with AI, because of this evolution of the digital economy.
Right. And it's accelerating. So I think the change is going to come much more fast and furious. Shout out to the movie series, but it's going to become more prevalent as we see it. And I think it's unavoidable. It's really unavoidable.
Yeah.
So if entrepreneurship is the only choice or the main choice, let's just call it that.
It won't be the only choice, but it's going to be the most controllable choice. There'll still be jobs. Like I don't believe that all jobs are going away, but enough jobs are going away that the ones that are left, you want to really compete with 10 million people where you used to not have to. Like that's where we're going. By the way, shout out to Ty Banks who's listening to us. Ty, I love you. He's quoting me. Your uniqueness becomes your path to income. Ty's a great dude, and we'll fill you in on him later.
All right. Okay. So if jobs don't exist, and if you have a 40-year run for a job, after that you retire, right? Yeah. So then
fantasy. You can, first of all, you cannot retire anymore. You have to start thinking that retirement is a myth. This is hard truth number 5. The reason retirement is a myth, number 1, inflation. You can't save enough money and just put it in a bank and then live off of it. And people, by the way, think that inflation is like the weather. It just kind of happens. They're printing money globally on a scale we've never seen before. And oh, by the way, what, there's inflation? What a coincidence.
Yeah.
My point is, they're not, if you think they're going to stop printing, save all the money you got. But if you think this continues, like that they're going to spend beyond their means, you can't plan to retire and live off of saved money. That plan is broken.
Right. Because the value of the money that you've saved as economies like the US, right? Or whatever, global economies that are continuing to print money, it actually devalues what you have already spent your whole time saving up and working for and saving up.
I got a more controversial one for you, Dano. I don't think people really want to retire, right? Follow me on this one. Who the hell wants to sit and get old and walk a golf course and what people want to do is what they want. Like, you don't want to just stop working and rot. You want to find the thing you like and do it until you don't have to. Like, and I don't have to do it. I love doing it. How many people do you know in their older years? Those are the happiest people.
Yeah. Ultimately, if you can find something that you're passionate about, then it's like the Dirty Heads song "Vacation." Every single day is a vacation because I love my occupation. Right. So shout out Dirty Heads.
I got Bruce Springsteen quote, been paid a king's ransom for doing what comes naturally. Like, that's, they say that people who find what they love to do never work a day in their life. That's not just like kind of cool, would be fun.
Right. That's Mark Twain. Right. So
I think so. But my point is it's not an option anymore. Like, you have to do that, because if you're just going to work a job, you're done.
So then, if I look at my day, right, and I've got the things that I'm doing, you've got the things you're doing, then everyone says, oh, I've got this, I got this job, and they're hitting me up at night and they're hitting me up on the weekends to do work, and my work-life balance sucks.
Oh, work-life balance. So that there's no such thing as work-life balance. That's the fact. Like, people don't want to admit this, but in your heart, you already know I'm right. There's only life balance. Like, you got to find what you like to do and do it. If work-life balance is that I have to suck up, I think Gary Vee, who once said that if you're living for the weekends, your poop is broken. I'm ending this. Like, you could
family show.
I wrote a piece on Monday on LinkedIn about the larger your cup of coffee, the more you hate your job on Monday. Like, that's people cope with their job so they can enjoy their life later. That doesn't work anymore. One, jobs are going away. Two, there's an option now to make money from what you like. And three, that's the new definition of success is not working anymore. It's personal happiness, fulfillment. That's what people want.
Hey, so just real quick for the audience, who is Gary Vee?
Gary Vaynerchuk is a entrepreneur in Jersey, loudmouth. I actually.
That's a compliment to him, actually. So.
I remember, Dan, we both lived near the wine library, and I used to buy wine from this guy back when he was this sniveling kid behind the counter selling wine. And I'm like, I've seen what he did with social media, and I'm like, okay, it's not a joke.
Yeah, he was at the forefront. So okay, we've got our 6 hard facts. Right?
So the hard truth, just as a recap here. Number 1, the old road to success is broken. Yeah. Number 2, the new road is personal. Number 3, your income must go digital. Number 4, entrepreneurship is no longer a choice. 5, because retirement is a myth.
That's right.
And 6, you could forget work-life balance. That's the hard truths that people don't want to know.
Right. So ultimately, if you own what you're doing, right, and you're an entrepreneur, it actually becomes life balance because you just love what you're doing.
Right.
And so really, it's find what you love and go do it. So what can the audience do to take action steps here?
So I'll steal a page out of your book, Dan. Diversify your skills, number 1. And what I mean specifically by that is you need to bolt on digital skill sets. Digital skills, in my definition, is like digital writing for the internet is not the same as regular writing. Understanding how business and relationship building is formed through the social platforms is not the same as in person. There's a way to build personal brand. There's a way to sell. All this stuff can happen through these things, but people are not taking the time to learn. Like, it's no different from learning how to, I don't know, like play guitar or cook. Like, there's a skill set here and you got to learn it. And it's not because it's cool or because it would be a nice to have. It's because the clock is ticking.
Right. So diversify your skills. That's number one. Right. So number
Yep.
one. And then number two is okay. Now you've got all these skills, right? What the next thing to do is to apply them, right?
Yeah, right. You have to define what you can do. Like people need to figure out what are you good at. I always think of the three overlapping circles, the Venn diagram. What you like, what you're good at, what people will pay for. You have to start thinking in terms of what's hobbies that I have that I love to do, interests are actually monetizable. Like you know a lot of stuff, whomever you are, not all of it can get you paid, but
So
some of
that
it can.
diagram that Mark is talking about, it's the Ikigai, which is a Japanese concept, and that's spelled Ikigai. Everybody, you should look it up. It's definitely an image you can easily find. Ikigai.
The tip I'll give on that is go back through your life when you were 12 years old. What did you do for fun on a Saturday morning? Like whatever it is, I guarantee you can make money doing that.
Watching cartoons? What?
You can. So get involved with the marketing into the cartoons. Get involved with making content for those companies. Like there's some angle that connects. Years ago, I turned down a job at Polygram Records to go into Wall Street, by the way, Dan. And I think I look back on that and I'm like, I'd have probably done great on the marketing side of Polygram. Like, but my point is, what did you like and you didn't pursue it because you had to go make a living? Go back to that. There's something there.
Yeah, and actually, we hear about all those stories all the time, right? The doctor that after 35 years as a doctor, goes back to painting, and then all of a sudden they're terrific at painting, right?
Right.
And they have a second career doing that, right? So it's almost like pivoting because you might as well, right? The AI is going to get rid of your job, so why not pivot and do something that you actually like? So now that you've figured out what you want to do, right? Then what do you got to do after that?
Start personal branding. You need to start figuring out how to get your name out there and not to get famous. This isn't about influencer crap. This is about getting people that are interested in the same thing you're interested in, that Ikigai little thread, to start to get involved with them. Like you want to build a crew, and this is not a fan base for you. It is a community for each other, where we all love this crazy stuff. Dan and I are both a bunch of Star Wars nerds, right? We can go on any movie, you name it, we'll go back and forth and quote for an hour. You got friends like that. Those are the people and interests that you can build companies around. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, and ultimately, we need to come together and
sounds like a song.
Support each other so that we're not chasing those jobs that these aren't the jobs that you're looking for.
Don't get me started. And personal branding, by the way, is also a skill set, like selling, like cooking. There's a right way and a wrong way. You know right away, Dan, like the cheese balls out there that you're like, ugh, this guy. And the other people, you're like, he's a great dude. I'll follow him.
Right.
Love what he's.
But also talking about your personal brand, right? Like that's a thing that I think people don't think about enough because, and I mean, I read LinkedIn profiles for a living as a recruiter, and I see a ton of things that could be fixed like just within a second, right? Like your headline will say VP at Global Bankity Bank, and I mean that doesn't tell me anything, right? So why don't you talk about the thing that you're really good at in your headline, like just simply done, right? And then they start talking in their experience. This is actually going to your point around social media writing, right? They'll actually write a paragraph. It's like a whole paragraph, right, around the things that they were doing.
Nobody reads a wall of text.
Right. It's a wall of text. No one's going to read it. I mean, just put it into bullet point format, make sure there's no wraparounds, and then you have a nice, approachable brand that people can get to know.
Right.
So
people think that personal branding is about just boosting your own ego. It's about building community.
And it's about making sure that you're connecting.
It's
right?
networking. It's personal branding is no different from networking in the old days, right? Wasn't that personal branding when you went and met a guy for a cup of coffee and shook hands?
Right. It's about spending time with who you know, right? It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's spending time with who you know.
You know what personal brand really is? It's reputation. And personal branding is being known for that thing. And there's an unspoken question in everyone's mind. It is.
I'm going to write that one down. That was great.
The unspoken question in people's minds when they first meet you is, how can this person help me? Right? They won't say it. It sounds rude, but the reality is you tell people right up front how you serve the community. We teach digital skills. We help you get a job. We write your content, whatever. And so that unspoken question has to be answered without you speaking either. That's personal branding.
Right. And if someone can actually refer you without you ever saying a word, that's the scale.
I want to comment on that, Dan. If you have friends that when someone says to those friends, hey, I'm looking for a person that does such and such and such, and it's you, and your friend doesn't think of you, you've not done a good job personal branding.
Right.
Like you should be
not on them.
right. You are responsible for your own online reputation, let's call it, or in person, whatever you want. Define it how you want, but you got work to do.
All right. So now you've created a personal brand. You figured out what you want to do. You gained the skills that you need to get after it, right? And then now
you have to find the problem you want to solve. Launch your thing. Like go after deliver a solution in an area where people need, and they will pay you money. It's called creating value. And by the way, that term creating value, it's it's slang for making money. Help people and they will pay you. Like
right.
Shocker.
So now the person that actually says, oh, I think I have this thing. I've gotten the skills. I really want to help people or do something or give back to the community or whatever. I've created my personal brand. Now that I've launched my, whatever, side hustle, main hustle, whatever you want to call it, what is the thing that they need to get over, right? Ultimately.
Well, fear.
But fear, because they're saying, well, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah,
and
it's not. Don't worry about it.
Right? It's instead of ready, aim, fire, when you might get stuck in aim, right? Because actually most of us have grown up in a world where straight A's is great and you got to be perfect. In the world of reality, we have to be ready, fire, aim, right?
Yeah.
Because if as soon as you're ready, go for it, and you're gonna have to pivot anyway, so you might as well just launch and go.
You know what's a dirty little secret? In the world of corporate, you're punished for mistakes, right? School punishes you for mistakes. In the world of entrepreneurship, you actually gain cred and you are rewarded. When people are raising capital, if you're a second or third time failed entrepreneur, you're more likely to gather money than if you're a first time out the gate. People want to know you've had battle scars and overcome. So get public about it. Don't be afraid to fail. And you have to start trying to scale what you're doing in the face of disaster. That's just called life. That's what's required now, because if you wait, you're going to lose. That's guaranteed. So you may as well try, and you got a shot.
Right. That's the whole Michael Jordan. He missed 9,000 shots. Whatever.
That's
right.
A great commercial. Yeah.
I mean, just such a great campaign. So okay, we've launched our hustle, right? And now we're gonna go and scale.
Scale it. We got to scale it. So you have to scale it for one reason. This isn't about side money. I hate that term side hustle because it sounds like I'm trying to make gasoline money. It's going to replace your job. It has to eventually replace your job, and it won't right away. You're going to make $100 a month on the side in the beginning. That sucks. That's the way it goes. However, your mentality has to be, okay, when this thing gets up high enough and I'm where I need to be, I'm out of the job. I'm going to do this full time. Not because you want the freedom, although you do. You don't have the choice. I'm telling you, AI is going to replace jobs at the scale where the ones that are left aren't going to pay. I mean, you can design AI if you're that guy. Great, go for it. They'll always be the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, I read a ton of articles on like people that I was able to launch this $1 million business in 6 months. That is the exception. That's the exception, right?
There will be that, but that's not for the average person.
Not for the average person, right? So most businesses are going to have growing pains.
Right.
Right.
So the 5 actions to recap this is number 1, diversify your skills, right? You need to start figuring out your digital skills. What do you need? Bolt them on because you're going to need them later. Number 2, define your monetizable hobby, right? Know yourself. What is it that you really want to pursue, that you like, that you're good at, that people would pay for? Number 3, get a personal branding effort together. Start posting, publishing video. I don't care. You don't have to be the face of it. Just start doing something where you're getting regular people that like that same thing around you. Number 4, you want to launch, get something together, find the problem you want to solve. You're going to apply yourself to what?
Right.
Today. And number 5, start planning to scale it. Find a ways to diversify your income so that you can grow down the road. This isn't about getting rich quick. We're not trying to get you a Lambo. We're not selling any kind of like, hey, here's the magic elixir. It's you don't have a choice down the road. You're gonna have to start getting in motion. So you may as well start now. Get the failure over with, out of the way while you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's failure way to success, right? I think there's even a book with that title. It's about getting that B plus product out the door, right? So and being fast about it. Be quick. You never know when somebody else might come in and step in on that, and that's okay, right? Because you don't have to be the number one in any industry, right?
So here's a question for people to think about. What are you doing right now to learn the digital skill sets you're going to need in the new world? Workshops, courses, I don't care. You can go wherever you want to go. But the point is, you need to be doing something. So what are you doing currently that's not just checking the box? And there are tons of entrepreneurs out there, they're listening to here, I'm sure, who are thinking, okay, I'm doing this stuff, Mark, it's taking forever. Got it. That's the way it goes. That's okay. The people that I'm talking to are those who aren't doing anything or are hoping or hanging on by their fingernails.
I love it when I hear of a young person, right? So early 20s, maybe they are just right out of college, or maybe they skip college, right? I love that kind of person that goes and takes a big chance, right? If you're young, take the biggest possible swings.
Oh yeah,
right? You're young. In 5 years, if you're 21, in 5 years, you're still 26, but you've taken 5 years of risks and you've learned so much. And it's like in sports, right? There's it's not win or lose. It's you win or you learn.
yeah.
And so
To that point, though, you're going to look stupid, and you got to be okay with that. This is the required. There's no way around that, right? Whenever you're learning something new, you're going to suck.
Right. Perfect is never gonna really happen. Right. Perfect is stupid to achieve, right? Or even try to achieve. B plus, get going, move fast, learn. So
I take issue with the fact that people look at AI as if it's it's interesting to watch. Hope it doesn't replace jobs. Like, what are you doing? There's a clock. There's a sands of time moving through the hourglass is how I view it. And you won't have this window. In a few years, you will not have this window of time anymore to work and learn and figure it out.
Right.
So what happens then? I don't know. Universal basic income. Everyone gets fired. Who knows? I don't care. The point is there'll be those who win and those who won't. And the determining factor is right now.
Right. You have to execute now. Because, I mean, layoffs, right? AI taking over jobs, right? If you just even do a search, AI taking over jobs, you're going to have so many articles to read. If journalists are getting laid off, which there actually are, right? There's a lot of journalists that are getting laid off because ultimately, the media, right? If they're going to use AI to create content, right? And so, because the audience, right? The audience is actually okay with a B minus kind of article. All of these things, they have to be taken into account. So keep looking, keep learning. Any other advice that we can give our audience here?
Yes, and to that point, just want to address something in the comments. Ty is asking, will this be available as a recording I can reshare? Conversations a must listen.
Yes.
Thank you, Ty. Yes, it will be. This is not gated. We're trying to help people here. Dan and I are both of the mind that we've lived a life. If we could pass along a little pearl of wisdom here or there, this is perspective. We could be wrong. It's honestly never happened before. But if you can take something from this, it's give it a listen, give it an honest thought. So to your point, Dan, what should they do? Was that the question? Because I really think it starts with start taking classes if you need to, or start understanding the digital world.
Right.
I'll tell you a quick story. You know this already. When I was starting a couple years ago, when I started this business, I was paying my buddy Cody $400 a month to help me cut videos, like editing. I do that now for $20 a month software.
Right.
I love Cody, but I don't use him. I don't need to.
Right. You've replaced Cody.
And I'm a schmucky
AI editor, right? So
what's going to happen on the scale of like Oracle and IBM? Like you can see where it's going to go.
Yeah. And actually the software we're using right now, right?
Yeah.
It has an AI editor in it, right? So there's so much that can be done that we have to take control of, right? We have to take control. And actually I was having this discussion online with a bunch of kids in high school. And so these kids in high school, they're saying, well, school's not preparing me.
No, it's not going to.
School's abandoned me. They're
yes.
not learning any skills. they're only teaching me, the stuff that's in a book. I really want to learn how to think. And what part of me says, well, then, you got to go and seek out the people that will actually help you, the products or whatever, programs, courses that will actually help you do the things that you need to do, digital skills or how to think.
Yeah.
Right. And at the same time, even though I have a lot of empathy for these high school kids that feel kind of lost, I mean, stop whining, right? Just take over take over what you want, right? And take control. So
I'm going to just look back on the action steps. In the context of college, you just mentioned, define the monetizable hobby that you have back in your history. College isn't going to help you with that. Start personal branding. College isn't going to help you with that.
Nope.
Launch your first side hustle through the digital channels. Depending on the class you take, generally speaking, college is not geared for that.
Some colleges actually have entrepreneurship like programs.
Yeah, they have entrepreneurship programs because they're losing money to guys that are training up their students after they get out of college. I get kids in here all the time that are like, I just graduated. I'm 24 years old. I don't feel like I'm at all prepared for life.
Right.
And it ends up being, it's not the sales or the content stuff. It's stuff like digital writing should be short, choppy with lots of white space. Like how often do you post? Free content strategy. These are not things that they teach in school because they don't realize this isn't conspiracy. School's just behind. And that was always behind. And that was always okay until AI came along. And now it's not okay anymore.
Right. Right. I mean, ultimately AI is now serving up all of the knowledge onto your phone. It's not just free anymore. It's serving it up to you for free. And it's actually helping you think about it. But
it's what you said, Dan, about creative thinking. That's what they want to teach me how to think. The tools will do anything. The tools will do whatever you want them to do. Right? You can literally type a sentence and it will make a video.
Right.
The question becomes, what are you going to do? And the answer is inside of you. It is not out there. You're not going to find information online that's going to help you do this. You got to sit with a pen and paper, figure it out, make a strategy, solve a problem with the skills you have. Yeah. That's the future of income.
All right, Mark, another great episode of Everything to Gain. Thank you to the audience for showing up and watching. This will be available on our YouTube channel, E2G Show. That is E, the number 2G Show. So please go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and please share this show with your friends, the people that might be struggling. Right.
Yeah. If you guys found any value in this and you think that someone who could benefit, please forward it along. And not because we're trying to grow it, but because I feel like there's a problem out there in society. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, and I mean, we're here to help, and so we can value as we have more episodes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your attention. Peace. Mark Angelos.
All right. And have a great weekend, everybody. Mark, I will catch you on the flip side, my friend.
Peace out, brother.
All right.